Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cultural Awareness, the podcast that allows you to travel across the world. All of this from the backseat of your car, the comfort of your home, or maybe your neighbor house. Who knows? Wherever you are, welcome. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I'm your host, Big Steph. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to this podcast episode. Today we will talk a little bit about manhood, right? And yeah, I'm not one of those philosophers that will be talking about, a man is supposed to do this or that, but instead we're taking a different approach. This is Cultural Awareness Podcast. So here we try to bring everything down to a culture, right? And the past episode, I felt like I was talking mostly about my culture or my tradition, which is the Bantu tradition. And I'm about to talk about a different culture today, which is called the Xhosa culture. And I know you heard that clicking sound, right? Look, yeah, because these people are known as they speak a language with a clicking sound. I remember when I first got in America, people used to make fun of me. They would like click their tongue and think like I will understand it. I was like, that is not even a language. But the Xhosa language or the Xhosa language is a language that they speak with a clicking sound. But the difference is they are also words, right? You see when I say Xhosa, you hear the click sound, but you also hear the word that comes with it. That is how they speak, right? And they have many clicking sounds. Some say that they have 3 clicking sounds, some say that they have 5. So it depends on, I guess, who's making a report. But today, why do I bring that culture into place? Because we will talk a little bit about manhood, what it means to be a man, but from a cultural perspective. And that being said, let's look back. What are the ritual or the rite of passage that are done through or that are done in your society, right? I know that in my culture, even though I say we were not going to talk about it, we have a series of mystical ritual that as a young boy you got to go through to become a man, right? That is just the way my culture is. What are some of those rituals in your culture? I don't know. Do Americans have ritual? I don't really think so, but I feel like in America, every father try to raise their sons to the best of their ability in order to turn these boys into men, right? But in Africa, just a parent, yes, you give an education to your kid, but the neighborhood, the community also give an education to your kid. That being said, once you are born, they say you are not only your parent child, you are the whole village child. The whole village has an imprint or some type of a blueprint that you are raised with, right? And in this podcast, since we're talking about the Xhosa culture, in the Xhosa culture, there's one specific rite of passage that every young boy has to go through to become a man, right? What is that passage? That passage is actually circumcision, right? You have to be able to take the pen and imagine this. This is how it goes, right? So, first thing that you do is parent prepare months preparing you psychologically for you to know that you're about to be circumcised with a knife, right? Because you get circumcision with a knife. It's like a very, very sharp knife that they use to get you circumcised. And may I remind you that not every doctor doing this is really a trained professional, but usually traditionally they have someone that has some type of experience doing it, right? He was chosen, right? It was passed down to him from generation to generation, right? His father did it, and now it's his turn. His father showed him how it's done, and now he's taken. So he's not a surgeon per se, right? But he's in a traditional point of view, their surgeon, right? He's the one that was chosen to circumcise people, or let them out, to allow people to go from young boys to young men through the rite of circumcision, right? So the whole process take about 2 to 3 months, depending on how the scar takes to heal, right? So not everybody obviously goes through this right, because some people judge it is very painful. But also, may I remind you that there are some ramifications that comes with it, right? If you don't go through the rite of passage, let's talk about that before. So if you don't go through the rite of passage, when others speak, you must shut up, right? Because you are considered a boy. Even if you are 40 years old and you didn't go through it, they still will consider you a boy. You are not a man until you have completed the rite of passage successfully. People die during the process, right? Imagine someone take a knife and, oh my God, just thinking about it is painful, right? Imagine someone taking a knife, a very, very sharp knife, to, kind of cut your genital, right? To circumcise you is very, very painful. And no, I did not go through that one, because in my culture, the rite of passage is a little bit different. But what I know is people that go through it, like people that really go through it, they become a man, right? They have their seat at the table when the adults are speaking. So when the elders are speaking, now he has the right to speak, right? He will sit at the table and give his opinion or what he thinks. He will be fed meat, right? He will be fed meat. And whenever like we have leftover, that is for the people that are not circumcised, that did not go through the rite of passage, so they are given leftover. And whenever like somebody steals something within the community, guess what? Guess who is accused first? People that did not go through circumcision. Why? The belief is men don't steal, only boys steal. You get what I'm saying? So you like this tradition is, I mean, I really love the tradition. And by the way, if you wonder who's famous person are from that tradition, I don't know if you, I mean, you should remember who Nelson Mandela is, right? Because he's one of the chief of the Xhosa tribe, so, or was one of the chief of the Xhosa tribe. Yeah, so the Nelson Mandela is from that tribe. And now you kind of have an idea a little bit of, okay, when you are not circumcised, you don't have a seat at the table. You do not speak when others speaking, because you are still considered a boy. You get humiliated, right? You and your family get humiliated because you did not pass the rite of passage, right? Some people start the process and it's so painful, they have to go to the hospital. If you go to the hospital, that changes everything. You do not belong anymore among the men. You still belong among the boys, because you had to seek hospital. So that's why, if you were wondering why do people die, well, some people die because they try to handle the pain themselves, and sometimes there are infections that happen, and instead of going to the hospital, they want to become a man because they know what it means in a tribe or the society that they are living in. So they decide to just stay in there, and they end up dying. Yeah, that is the very few cases. And that's also because some people have been trying to like say that they are successful surgeons, even though they were not really taught how to properly do the circumcision, and they try to do it for money. And when the family is deciding to make their son try to pass through it, they just have to be able to differentiate who is really certified to do it and who is not. And I know that there are some elders of the Xhosa tribe that have tried to speak with the South African government to really track down those people that are really not certified, and that try to do it for money, because they know how desperate a lot of young boys want to become a man through the rite of passage or through the ritual of circumcision. So the whole process takes about 2 months, right? Or 2 to 3 months, depending on how long it takes for you to get here. And how does it go? When you're starting, they put you with white clay. White clay is a symbol of chasing away bad spirit or negative spirit or ghosts, or the way you want to see it, right? White clay is chasing away bad spirit. So for 2 months after the circumcision happened, you get removed from the, like, you get removed from the whole village, right? They build you a tent outside of the village. You are not allowed to be seen. All you got to do is like you do, if you need to go use the restroom, you're still over there in the jungle out there somewhere, right? In the wild, should I say. And you stay in that little cabin for 2 months until the circumcision, until the scar get healed. And once it's healed, completely healed, then the elder come and check on you. So they come maybe after a month to check on you, how it's going, and then after 2 months, and then once everything is healed, there's a big celebration that happens. The elder will come. Women are not allowed to go ahead and see the ritual, because throughout the ritual, while you're in the tent, when the elders show up, the first thing that you are now a man is they teach you a new language, right? A new riddles also. New riddles that will allow you to know how to walk in life, in your new life, which is the manhood life, right? You are now a man, you are not a boy anymore, right? So they teach you new riddles, they teach you new songs that out their ancestor passed down to them from generation to generation, and only the people that went through that ritual of circumcision are aware of it, right? Most people that did not go through it will not know the song. Only the people that go through the circumcision know the song, the lyrics, and how it goes. And that is for the first part. Now, the second part is once the circumcision is over, right? Once the 2 months or the 3 months are over, the elders, they come and pick you up and they take you to a river. And in that river, they wash you and anoint you with oil. Because at the beginning, remember, I told you there's a white clay that symbolizes, that casts away bad spirit or evil spirit. And now, when they anoint you with oil, a little bit like in the Bible, right? When you get anointed with oil, you're changing from one life to another. Now, when they anoint you with oil, you became a man. And now, instead of white clay, they put on your face red clay. Red clay shows that show people in the village that you went through the initiation successfully and that now you are a man. And you will wonder, why would people want to go through such pain, such ritual just to prove that they are men? Well, let's backtrack a little bit. What is a man, right? What is manliness? Manliness are the quality of doing what the society consider to be manly, right? Like for example, I was taught, most African men are taught, you gotta be strong, right? You have to be courageous. You can't just how can I say it? You cannot cry in front of everybody. A man is the one that keeps his emotions away, right? The only people, not to be sexist, but the people that are emotional creatures are women. A man has to be different, because if you are crying and your wife is crying, who's going to lead the household? That's what we were taught, right? So, a man is a leader, right? A man hunts, right? For those who still are hunting, even when I went to the village, that's what we did, right? We go and set traps everywhere, right? In the forest or jungle, if you want to call it like that. So those are the quality of the man, right? You have to be tough. You have to know that life is not going to be easy, right? Nothing is given to you. You have to earn it. You have to be respectful. You should not take something that do not belong to you. Don't lie on others. You know what I mean? Those are the qualities that we are taught as men until some weak people came and changed it. But yeah, those are a little bit the quality of a man, right? Now, let's get back to it. So now that you became a man, when something happened in a village and they need people's opinion, people that are not circumcised have nothing to say. Matter of fact, they keep them in the back, right? They do not laugh with people that went through circumcision at the table. They do not eat at the table. They do not speak when others are speaking, right? So that is what people are fighting for, the ability to express yourself when you need it, right? If you didn't go through circumcision, guess what, man? You just, I guess, you're still a boy. You get left behind and everything. And that is a little bit the culture that I wanted us to talk about it today, the Xhosa culture or the Xhosa culture, right? Which is the clicking sound culture. Yes, that language exists. People are probably wondering, do clicking sound language really exist? Yes, it does exist. And it's in South Africa, right? You might want to take one day, a lot of my American friends, they always say, oh, they want to go to Africa. That might be a place to start. I mean, I would like you to start with Cameroon first because I'm from Cameroon. But hey, Africa is Africa, right? So you can get some experience going to visit different places in Africa because Africa is about 56 countries. It has different culture all abroad, so all around, should I say, around the continent. So make your choice, man. Pick somewhere to go and just know. So remember at the beginning I asked you, what is one ritual that is done through men to men in your society that allow them to become men? So feel free to leave me comments, anything. Did I mention something that was not right? Because I'm not perfect in the knowledge of the Xhosa tribe, right? So I just see what I see and I try to go with it. And if someone come and correct, like, hey, this is what it actually happened, then I will bring it back to the show and say, hey, I made a mistake on such point. But I know in my culture we also have our ritual. Which we will talk about it in a later episode and everything. Today I just wanted to talk about a different culture than mine, so it doesn't seem like I'm here proning just my culture. I'm here to prone all culture around the world. So today we're talking about this Xhosa culture situated in South Africa. Leave comment and everything. And now let's go to the quote of the day.
Yo, boss, where is the commercial?
We ain't got none. We got to work harder. Okay, so in today's quote of the day, I would like to say something that my father used to always tell me. This is pretty much shout out to my dad. May he rest in peace. But anyway, the quote of the day is, do not eat your cow before killing it. I repeat, do not eat your cow before killing it. So when I was growing up, right, we used to talk about things on what we wanted to do and everything, like when you hear that good news and you start celebrating and you think it will go well. You always think things will go well until they don't. And my father used to always say, hey, you got to wait for the result. Do not eat your cow before killing it, meaning don't get ahead of yourself. Wait for it. Let it happen first. Then you can celebrate. Do not celebrate ahead of time. So that's pretty much where the quote is going. So I hope it's something, that inspire you, and especially if you're a sales person like me, where sometimes we make deals and, all you hear, a client is coming in and you start celebrating as soon as the client maybe test drive a car or something like that. You're like, oh yeah, I got him. And then all of a sudden you start celebrating. And then when the client come in like yesterday and they don't buy anything, you're like, man, I did all this work. I started celebrating and this dude is not buying a car. So that is pretty much what it is, right? Do not. So I ate my cow before killing it, man. You got to be able to kill your cow first before eating the meat. So that's pretty much what the quote means. And so now let's go to our story of the day. And obviously I'm not going to be judgmental. I'm just here to relate the story and ask you for your opinion. Story of the day. Okay, guys. Okay. So on today's story of the day, this is a woman writing because she has her kid and they all live in like a rental apartment, right? And in that rental apartment, their neighbor, who also rent like them, obviously, have also their kid. But the problem is their neighbors, the man and the wife, are always throwing like insult at each other, right? They're using curse word. Yeah, we do have curse word in French. So they're using curse word at every time, every opportunity they get when they're mad at each other, when they're arguing and everything, like you're stupid, you dumb, and other curse word like the F word, like fuck this, fuck that. I mean, if you listen to my show, sorry, but I'm just here to repeat the story. So they're using a lot of curse word and everything. And what this couple is complaining about, or what this lady is complaining about, is the fact that her kids that she have of her own are also picking up those same curse words. And the other day, when the kid, her 3-year-old son, she was, blaming him for something that he did or did not. He did something wrong at the house, and she was blaming the little son, who heard it from the neighbors, say the same bad word at her. And he's thinking it's cool. He's saying with a smile. And then she's worried now about the environment where her kids are growing, right? Because the neighbor's kids are also copying the insult that the parents are saying toward each other, thinking it's cool when in fact it's not, right? So she's writing them to ask, what should she do? Well, you got to put this thing in context, right? So the number one thing is, in Africa, you don't get raised by just your parent. You get raised by the community where you live. And that is why she's complaining, because usually when we live in a community, whether we all rent, whether it's in the same village, usually we are all accountable to our children's education. When two parents decide to argue in front of the kids to a point where they are profiling, insulting to each other, guess what? Kids are at the early age where they copy everything. Anything you see, it's like, it's like that bird that copy everything you see, and then you will have one day your neighbor in the living room and they will just splash everything they heard and everything, and your neighbor will be shocked of those words and everything. So that is a little bit what kids are at this point of time, right? They are young and they are copying every single thing. They are copycat. So when you profile insult, you got to make sure that kids are not around. And in a community where we live in Africa, that couple should be reprimanded. Like, they might be asked to find somewhere else to live, just because it's not okay for either your kid or the neighbor's kid to copy the bad word that you are saying. If you want to argue based on, again, Bantu tradition, when you want to argue as a parent, number one, there were places where you guys are allowed to argue. Number one, you send the kid somewhere to go do something. You maybe go drop them at, I don't know, your brother, auntie house or whatever. And then when you guys get home, you guys really can get at it, right? Everything that happened with that environment, the kids are not allowed to see, right? You can really tell to your wife, I don't like this, I don't like that. If there's any insult that you guys have to say to each other, that is the time, right? That is the time to say everything. But do not let the kids see you guys go through it, because the kid will copy it. You remember, Sigmund Freud said we are the product of our environment. That goes for everybody. If a kid is seeing violence in the home, guess what? He's most likely, sorry for, we got a degree, but hey, we didn't really go to school like that. But anyway, so he's most likely to copy whatever he see, and he will also become violent in the future, right? We are the product of our environment. So when you want to argue, hey, make sure kids are not around. Make sure kids don't see you in all your state of angriness, right? So the lady is right. This is actually happening in Africa, and she's asking what she should do. Well, what she should do, number one, is either complain to the landlord about it, or number two is she should move out of there, because you don't want your kid to copy a bad example. But again, where are you going to move to? You think you will move and go somewhere where these injuries these insults are not happening? Because everyone is pretty much insulting these days. You got to be able to teach your kid not to copy the bad habit. You got to tell them this is wrong, this is right, so that they grow knowing or having that thing innately impregnated in their brain. Right? So that was a little bit the story of the day, and I hope you got to enjoy the podcast of today episode podcast, and I will have to see you next time again, and God bless. And if you have anything you're planning on doing, project, man, focus on it, right? Because here, I know we talk a lot about culture, but I'm also here to motivate you. Get something done. I didn't know I would ever sit here and speak for a freaking podcast with no one watching me in my closet. But hey, guess what? I'm doing it. I don't even know who will listen to this, right? But I'm still doing it. Hey, you can do the same thing, man. Find something that you want to do for fun or that you love and do it. Why? Because you never know what factor will get you where you want to be, right? So this, for me, the podcasting is just experimental, right? Whether they give money or not, I don't really care, because I'm having fun with it. I'm learning how to express myself, because someone who has an accent, is a little bit difficult to talk, because everybody is trying to make fun of your accent, or people think it's cool, the accent, yes, but you don't also see when people think it's not cool. You know, the other day I was selling a car to a lady over the phone, and she told me, hey, this would be better if you didn't have an accent. You know, hey, so you know, you have to overcome, adapt and overcome. So if you have something there, my brother, God bless, man. Find your way to the right path. Find yourself. Find who you are, you know, and see you in the next episode. I mean, we won't virtually see each other, but you know what I mean. God bless.